everyone. Danny here today, and I'm going to be talking about something a little bit different. It's winter time, it's cold out, and it's wonderful to sit in front of the fireplace with my favorite doggie and just stay warm. However, I'm a truck driver, and as any professional truck driver will tell you, our job does not exist in front of a fireplace. Our job is to be out there on the road. And come wintertime, there are certain things that you got to be prepared for. If you're not prepared, you're going to have a miserable time of it. Cold, snow, getting stuck somewhere. It happens. Now with my job, we drive what are called day cabs. So we don't have a sleeper in the back. So we get stuck on the side of the freeway. All we have is the driver's seat, the passenger seat, a little area in between where the shifter is, the column is. We've got a limited space on how much we can bring, but we need to go prepared. So all of us put together, I'll put that over there, all of us put together what is known as a winter bag. And in the winter bag, we have certain necessities. I have a pair of winter coveralls because if I've got to get outside of the truck and chain up, which is going to happen in the snow, I want to protect myself from the snow. I've got a tarp to put down on the ground to try and keep myself dry as I'm crawling underneath and putting on chains. As has happened more than once with my job, if I get stuck somewhere for an excessive amount of time, and I need to conserve my fuel, I need something to keep me warm. So I tend to carry some form of an emergency blanket. Now, I was asked to do a review of this emergency sleeping bag right here. And my initial response was, no, my channel is not for reviewing things like sleeping bags. My channel is for reviewing audiobooks. But I talked to a few people and they were like, you're a truck driver. Who better to review something like that other than like a mountaineer? And a mountaineer doesn't carry an emergency little bag like this. Typically, I don't know. I'm not a mountaineer. Maybe they do. I don't know. So I said, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll do it. Now, a couple of things. The size. Love the size. Easy. Won't take up any space at all in my emergency bag. It's completely different than my tarp. My tarp is 10 times this size. My coveralls are 10 times this size. This is nice and small. Question is, now I ordered it from Amazon. It came like 2 days later. The question is, can I repack it and keep it this small? Is it going to actually keep me warm and do its job? Let's open it up and see what it looks like when you open it up. Can I repack it and get it back into this little teeny tiny bag here? So, when you first open it up, this is what it looks like. Oh, wow. I was about to grab a knife to cut this open, but I don't have to. So, out of the bag, it looks like this. All-weather emergency bag. And it actually is in another little plastic baggie here. And then these are the directions. Do not enter head first because you could suffocate. Keep clear of the face. Children must use with close adult supervision. So it must be something that is airtight. Says it easily folds back up. Can fit in your glove compartment or first aid kit, which it could. It is definitely small enough for that. And complete heat retention and thermal insulation, although that is spelled completely wrong. What it actually says is complete heel relention and thermal insulation, but I can tell what it means. So, the next question is, does it actually retain warmth? Now, this looks like this is one of those space kind of blanket thingamabobbers. Plenty long enough, and you can see. So, it's thin, but You got orange on the outside, highly visible, so this is an emergency blanket, right? Now I would use it inside the cab of my truck, so I would really not worry all that much. If I break down out in the middle of nowhere, I'm not leaving my truck. Even if my truck runs out of fuel, I'm not leaving my truck. My best chances of being found are to be with my truck. As they're clearing the road, they will find me in my truck. So I'm not leaving my truck. But a hunter, an outdoorsman, anyone like this, like that, who had this in their truck, the orange, the outer orange, would make you nice and visible. Then the interior of it is silver, which would be what would retain the heat. The question is, will it actually retain heat? Another question is, how sturdy is it? And it just tore on me as I was opening up. You were watching me there open it. I didn't open it hard at all. So it just tore as I was opening it. So I'm going to have to find out, will it retain heat with a tear in it? Now, as a truck driver, I carry tape. So I would tape that up is what I would do before I used it. But I still want to know, does this thing retain heat? I think it was $7 and some odd cents. It wasn't much at all. So as far as durability goes, you could easily replace this for not much at all. But that is obviously a point against it, how easily it tore there. So I'm going to, it is winter, it is frozen out. I'm going to go outside with this and try it and see how well it does at retaining heat, and then I will come back to the video. Hello everyone, welcome back. There we go. So I just spent about an hour outside on the frozen ground in the emergency blanket. It's 31 degrees outside according to my very nice thermometer, and when I say my very nice thermometer, I'm not being sarcastic at all. When my wife and I bought this house, the people who owned the house before it, the husband had set up a complete weather station, barometer, thermometer, the whole 9 yards, and he has a very, very nice outdoor thermometer, not the wall hanging kinds. This one's a digital outdoor thermometer, and according to it, it's 31 degrees out. Ground's completely frozen. I went from right next to the fireplace to straight outside onto the ground, barefoot, pair of sweat bottoms, t-shirt. The only part of me that got cold was my feet, where they touched the ground. When I laid down on the ground, because I started out sitting, I sat for a while, and then I went to laying for a while to see how it went. My back, wherever I touched the ground and I wasn't protected, the thinness of this does not protect you from the frozen ground. The heat still comes through, or the cold still comes through it. So you would want to have something between this sleeping bag and the frozen ground and yourself. Now, from inside of a vehicle, say you had this in your glove box and you broke down in the wintertime on the side of the road, if you're smart, you're going to stay with your car, hopefully have a cell phone, call for help. Regardless, you're going to want to stay with your car. You're not going to be touching the frozen ground. You're just going to be trying to keep yourself warm inside the vehicle when the vehicle is turned off. This would work perfect for that. The only thing you have to be careful of, it did tear. Now, I taped the tear. I didn't use duct tape, which is, I have duct tape and electrical tape inside my truck. I was here at the house, so I used packing tape, but I did tape the tear before I went out there. You want to be careful climbing in and out of it, that you don't tear it, which I didn't have a problem with. It did the one tear as I was opening up, and it hasn't torn again since then. But I stayed, considering I'm in a t-shirt, sweats, and bare feet, on completely frozen ground in 31-degree weather, I did stay surprisingly comfortably warm in it. My head did not stay warm. It is definitely airtight, which it's also waterproof. And that's a nice thing, because if you're stuck out in the snow, anyone who has a lot of experience with snow knows that one of the problems you have is the snow will soak what you're wearing, and then it will affect the transfer of heat to it. So you could use this as a ground cover to keep you off of the snow. The fact that it tears so easily means that if you had multiple people, you could build, and if you have any experience with the snow, you know how to build a, I want to call it a snow fort, but it's not a snow fort. Anyhow, it's a snow shelter. You could then line the bottom of the snow shelter with this and put your regular sleeping bags on top of it with the silver side up. It would keep you dry and help keep you warm as well. I have not tried repacking it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the video off to try repacking it, so you don't have to sit there and watch me repack it. See, because that's the other question is, can it get back into this little teeny tiny bag here, or is it pretty much a one and done kind of a thing? They're only about $7, so it's an emergency bag. It's not a everyday kind of a bag. But still, is it a one and done, or is it something that you can reuse? So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video so you don't watch me doing this, because that'd probably be kind of boring, and I'm going to pack it up and we'll see how I do. All right, welcome back. I actually could have allowed you to watch me fold that up. At the most, it took 2 minutes. It folded up quite easily, went right straight back into the bag. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and conclude my review of this ACVCY emergency sleeping bag. And you don't need to remember ACVCY emergency sleeping bag. I'm going to put a link to the product page on Amazon. This is an Amazon Prime product. I said earlier in the video I thought they were about $7. They're $12.99. And if you have Prime like I do, then it is free shipping, so it would be $12.99 plus applicable tax. Definitely worth the price, in my opinion. If you live anywhere where you need to worry about being caught by wintertime, you should have one of these in your glove box. They weigh absolutely nothing. I almost dropped it there. Weigh absolutely nothing. They take up no space whatsoever. It's definitely a must-have for an emergency. You get broke down on the side of the road. I'm going to put this one here. Now, it's got a money-back guarantee. This one tore as I was opening it. I think that was probably just a defect in the bag that I got. I don't think it is a problem the bag has. It says on the page that it is puncture and tear proof, and I can tell you as I was opening it, it tore along a spot where it had been folded, and that may well have been a defect in the manufacturer, because when I took it outside, I taped it, I took it outside, I climbed into the bag, I sat there for 15, 20 minutes, with it wrapped up around and pulled tight around my neck, and I didn't have a problem with any tears, anything like that. I stretched out on the ground. I moved around a good bit on the ground, because if you've ever tried to sleep on the frozen ground in a t-shirt and no padding whatsoever, it gets uncomfortable really fast. So I did do quite a bit of shifting, quite a bit of moving around. No additional tears. The seam where I had taped it stayed good. So I think it was a defect, and I can take this one, return it, either get my money back or get another one, because it's got a 100% money back guarantee with it. It's waterproof, which gives you so many more uses for it. You can use it, if you're caught somewhere and you need an emergency way to carry water, you can use this to carry water. If you need protection from the snow or from the rain, you can use this to protect you from the snow and the rain. You can turn it into a poncho. It says don't go into it head first, because it is airproof. Basically, you could suffocate yourself. but you could wrap it around yourself to help protect you from the rain, from the weather. There's all sorts of uses for it. The bright orange color on the outside, silver color on the inside, means that you'd be easy to find. So if you're lost in the woods and rescuers are out looking for you and you're huddled inside of this to protect you from rain, snow, wind, it's windproof. It's very windy where we live. So I forgot to mention that earlier. It was 31 degrees outside and the wind was blowing. It definitely works to protect you from the wind. It is definitely windproof. No problem there. So whatever you're using it to protect you from, you'd also be highly visible to anyone in the area, whether they were hunting for you or not. Like I said, it's something I plan on getting another one. I don't think I'll bother returning this one. I taped it and it worked fine after I taped it. I'm going to chuck this one into my winter bag. I'm going to get at least one more for my wife. We live in Linden. My wife works in Bellingham. It's a 20-30 minute drive to work for her. And my understanding is we can get some really nasty, sudden winter weather here. So I would like her to have something like this in the car. She's got an electric plug-in blanket that she can plug into the cigarette lighter. But if she's stuck in the car long enough, she might need something like this. So I will actually be getting another one of these for my wife. That's how much I recommend it. I'm going to get another one. Can't beat the price point. $13 to save your life. I mean, you just can't beat that whatsoever. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you like my channel, subscribe. Turn on notifications. Question, comments, feedback, especially comments about this bag. If you want to know something that I didn't think to cover in my video, put it in the comment section. I respond to 100% of my comments. I will get back to you. And I'm going to close the way I normally close. I wasn't going to. I was like, how am I going to close? Normally I do. But you know what? This is still an audiobook channel, so I'm still going to close with my normal close. So, no matter what else you do today, make sure that today you listen to at least one really good audiobook. If you want some recommendations, check out my channel. That's what it's there for.